Tiger True Crimes presents Top 40 Reasons Barry Morphew Appears to Be Guilty. Barry Morphew put out this plea video shortly after the disappearance of his wife Suzanne on Mother's Day 2020. This video production was independent of the media and or law enforcement.
Oh, Suzanne, if anyone is out there that can hear this, that has you, please, we'll do whatever it takes to bring you back. We love you, we miss you, your girls need you. No questions asked. However much they want, I will do whatever it takes to get you back.
In this short video, Barry insinuates Suzanne has been kidnapped or abducted, and he is ready to pay the ransom if need be. At the end of his plea, he says, "I'll do whatever it takes to get you back." According to Barry, Suzanne went on a bike ride close to their mountain home in Maysville, Colorado, population 135, and never returned. However, Barry couldn't quite keep his story straight and began introducing a mountain lion theory.
Where's the bike? Oh, it's right there. Where was it? It was like just right down here in this little bank. So I took this here. Have to know the same here.
I'm here with my daughter. She's at Gary's house.
Okay. All right, yeah, you can go down there. Fresh. I mean, the bike, the way it was laid, it kind of looked like it, but there's not really that much damage. The bike, that's lion. Yeah, it was that lion.
No, we're lying.
I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything, and they're not letting us go.
Because they're getting a track. It's just right down there.
You know what my husband is?
Immediately upon his arrival from Broomfield, Barry asks first if it's a crash, and then shortly thereafter introduces the mountain lion theory. So it begs the question, if Barry thought it was a bike crash and or a mountain lion attack, why did he make a plea video without the help of law enforcement or the media only 2 or 3 days after her disappearance, claiming that she had been abducted? Why didn't Barry let some of the facts come out prior to settling on the abduction theory he proposed in his plea video? We don't know why Barry has acted so strangely throughout this entire process, but one thing we know for sure, he hasn't lived up to his promise to do whatever it takes to bring her home. Since I personally spoke to Barry, approximately 3 weeks after Suzanne disappeared, this case has garnered much media attention. However, Many of these media outlets leave out crucial details which I don't quite understand, but it is my hope that us, smaller media outlets, can provide insight into why we believe the state of Colorado has it right in Barry Morphew being suspect number 1. So with that, let's get into the top 40 reasons Barry Morphew looks guilty. Here are the facts in the case I think are actually significant in the prosecution's case against Barry to demonstrate his inconsistencies in behaviors, and also against claims by the defense of an abduction or a gone girl scenario. Number 1. Suzanne has zero proof of life activity since Saturday, within several minutes of Barry arriving home. Number 2. Barry lied about the status of his marriage while a search for his wife was underway. Why would he not have immediately revealed those problems as a possible reason Suzanne may have decided to leave on her own? Instead, he lied about the state of his marriage, blamed mountain lions, abductors for ransom that never existed, implicated Suzanne's own brother and nephews, and even the sex trafficking of a 49-year-old woman. Number 3. The investigation uncovered Suzanne had a secret bank account that she had recently opened, presumably because she was preparing to leave Barry, yet the money was never touched, not even once, after disappearing, quote unquote. What was the point of secretly saving money in case you need it to leave if you aren't going to use it? Number 4. Barry turned his phone onto airplane mode for 7 hours on Saturday evening. This is the same evening all verifiable activity of Suzanne stops. Number 5. Barry tampered with his truck's electronic data system, coincidentally, on that same day. Number 6. Barry collected over $50,000 in GoFundMe, but could only account for how he spent $4,000 of it. He used it to pay his friend, George Davis. Number 7. Barry told friends and the public he hired a private investigator to help find his wife, yet the investigation uncovered that he had never actually hired a PI. Why lie about this, especially to your own family and friends? Number 8. His multiple trash runs to illegally dispose of items in 5 different locations. Why not throw everything away at once? Why not use the dumpster that is on the end of your private drive, which is shared by only 2 other homes on that street, whether he had permission to use it or not? He didn't exactly have permission to use the many dumpsters in the Broomfield area that he decided to use. In addition, the neighbors are absentee owners who were not there that week. Barry appears to frequent that dumpster on enough occasions to, by random chance encounters, meet the ladies in the neighborhood. In fact, we know of at least 2 women he met there, one of which he has been recently dating. Number 9. Last minute change in his timeline. Barry was not scheduled to leave for Broomfield until 5:30 p.m. Instead, he leaves 12 hours earlier, last minute, and does not notify his employees until after 11 a.m. His premature arrival was not used to do any significant amount of work. He spent most of his day throwing away trash, changing outfits, saving shoelaces, and hanging out in his hotel room. Number 10. Barry never even brought the proper tools on the trip. He only brought hand rakes and shovels. And despite knowing his employees were still headed there later that evening, he doesn't call them and ask them to bring the tools he forgot to bring to the job. Number 11. Barry claims he didn't know about the affair his wife was having. He was also claiming his marriage was perfect. and that he was devastated because she was missing and that he was out searching every day. No mass-scale search effort was ever held by Barry Morphew after the first week Suzanne was reported missing, despite collecting money for this purpose. Number 12. Barry sold Suzanne's Range Rover 3 months after she went missing, despite him suggesting he thought his wife was being kept by sex traffickers at the same time, and was still hopeful for her return. 13. Barry went on public news to deny he had ever refused a polygraph. It's his legal right not to take a polygraph, but why would you lie to the public and tell them you were never asked to take one, even though you were actually asked on more than one occasion to take one? Number 14. Barry also went on the news to share a love letter written to him by Suzanne to show the marriage was in good standing and to give the false impression that there were no marital issues. Yet her birthday was just a couple weeks before she disappeared, and Mother's Day was the day she was reported missing, yet he shows nothing that he had written for her. He deliberately tried to portray his marriage as a good and happy one, despite knowing the fact that his wife had just asked him for a divorce the same exact week she disappeared. In fact, he even deleted these texts from his phone, including one where he threatened suicide, which is a common manipulative tactic used by abusers to guilt their partners into staying. Number 15. Barry starts dating Shoshona Dark 5 months after his wife disappeared, allegedly in October. Barry maintains he knew nothing about Suzanne's affair until he was told about it in January by investigators. He was also still claiming he was searching for his wife at the time. He also was telling locals she had been abducted by sex traffickers around this same time, and that he believed she was being held captive against her will, but he started dating someone else? Number 16. Spy pin audio revealed Barry borrowed money from Suzanne, and the investigation revealed that Suzanne's $400,000 plus inheritance was tied up in the Puma Path home. Suzanne and Barry were heard arguing over her wanting access to her money and Barry promising to pay her back over the next few months that very same summer. Suzanne went missing a month prior to ever being paid back anything by Barry. Number 17. Barry told his friends and family that the FBI had uncovered threats from Suzanne's family regarding the use of her father's land for the purpose of growing cannabis, which Barry told friends and family Suzanne had a huge moral implication with and was at odds over this land use. However, the investigation actually uncovered that Suzanne had used CBD and even marijuana while undergoing chemo for her cancer, suggesting that she actually did not have any strong moral obligation to cannabis. Furthermore, the investigation also revealed that Barry himself purchased CBD from a guy named CBD Tim for Suzanne on more than one occasion. Even more damning, no law enforcement agency uncovered any threat made by Suzanne's family, and that Barry was actually the one who suggested Suzanne's family involvement to the investigators, not the other way around. Barry's defense has never brought this up when mentioning all of this supposed exculpatory evidence they've been presenting to the judge. It's also not mentioned in the AA. Surely Barry or Troy would have reminded defense counsel of this other lead if it had truly been uncovered in the investigation and there was actual proof of this, other than Barry having suggested it on his own to investigators. Number 18. Early on, Barry had also told several friends and family that he had taken a polygraph and passed, and was cleared, when none of it was actually true. He also suggested to friends and family that investigators were simply not publicly clearing him and were just making it appear as though Barry was still possibly a person of interest, as to not tip off the true person or persons of interest that law enforcement was closing in on. All of this was later determined to be a lie. Number 19. Barry was the only person with the means and opportunity to have done anything to Suzanne on Saturday, because he admits he was with her all night and left her asleep in bed the next morning. There was zero verifiable proof of life of Suzanne after Saturday. Number 20. Suzanne was not known to ride her bike in the area by the highway near her home where her bike was later found. Suzanne would always take her sunglasses and Camelback when she would go riding. Her sunglasses and Camelback were found in the car that was parked in the garage of her home. Her purse, wallet, cash, credit cards, ID, checks, and other items were also in the vehicle. Number 21. Suzanne communicated with her secret lover incessantly, day and night. Saturday, she never said goodnight to Jeff. Sunday, he never heard from her. In fact, Jeff had never heard from Suzanne ever again after that last call, which ended shortly before Barry arrived home on that fateful Saturday. Number 22. Friday night, Suzanne admitted to her sister and best friend that Barry had been abusive to her, both physically and mentally, and that she was ready to leave the marriage. Suzanne also admitted to her best friend that she was scared to be alone with Barry. Number 23. Barry admitted to investigators the one time he had physically harmed Suzanne by, quote, clipping her on the nose once, end of quote, during an argument. Number 24. Although the judge may not allow some of this information in, Suzanne did reveal a time when Barry had pushed her into a closet, threatening to kill himself by putting a gun to his own head, and also a time that during an argument he opened his own truck door and threatened to jump out of his truck while he was driving. Barry also deleted a suicide text, which actually corroborates Suzanne's accounts that he used threats to his own life as a way to scare and manipulate her. The judge suppressing reference of previous incidents into trial is unjust and unfair because the victim is unable to speak for herself. Her testaments to friends or family, especially those expressed in her own words by text, should be presented to the jury, and the defense should be able to present their case to a jury that other than those texts, there is no other proof other than Macy's own admission that her parents' marriage was an Number 25. Barry told his friend Troy that he, Barry, hated social media and that he only had it because Suzanne said it was good for business. Contrary to that, in Suzanne's private list of grievances, she actually states that Barry used the excuse of needing social media because it was good for business, a landscaping business. Searches of Barry's social media accounts before he set them to private do not show him using a business page or account, nor posting or promoting his business, but that he was a regular normal account, mostly used for posting photos of his hunting expeditions and family vacation photos. Number 26. Law enforcement cadaver dogs alerted to the scent of decomposition inside Barry's bobcat, as well as an area on or near the trailer. Number 27. Barry never participated in any of the community searches for Suzanne. He also did not attend the vigil for his own wife, despite telling media that he would be there. Number 28. When officers escorted Barry into the house to retrieve the clothing last worn by Suzanne, Barry got a pair of bike shorts to give to the officers. The last clothing he alleged to have seen her wear was a white string top of some kind. If she presumably was abducted by a mountain lion or assailant, she probably would have been wearing her bike shorts, which means either those were the previous day's shorts, assuming Suzanne had multiple pairs like most people do, or he deliberately did not give police the last thing she was wearing when he last saw her. If they were the previous day's shorts, you would have to wonder why she didn't wash them when she washed Barry's shorts from the previous day along with the bed sheets. Number 29. When Barry put out the plea video, not only did he not have law enforcement's backing, he didn't even run it by them first. He published it only to one social media page. He didn't even try getting that plea publicized by the media. His wife is missing. Why would you select such a small audience to share your plea with the world? And why would you not get a top dog agency like the FBI, who was already on the case, or Law Improvement's approval first? Number 30. Even more concerning is that Barry was still telling locals he thought a mountain lion attacked her. So who was he pleading to or offering a reward to? No questions asked in that video. A mountain lion? Law enforcement never suggested that she was abducted for a ransom either. Fine, maybe he was desperate to try anything to find his wife. Why would he assume a random kidnapper would even know his name or be looking at his Facebook page? Wouldn't he have reached a much larger audience had he gone to the news? Number 31. If Barry's defense is going to suggest that Suzanne ran off with no money and no ID and was so sick of being married to Barry that she had run away without taking her car, money, or even a suitcase, I think it's going to be difficult for a jury to believe Barry's account of his romantic night with Suzanne on Saturday. Would a woman about to pull a Gone Girl and leave all of her assets and her daughters behind even bother having sex with the husband she is so tired of that she's about to run away from without taking a single thing with her? Number 32. The defense has made a lot of noise regarding the partially matched DNA hits in CODIS. They are suggesting that Suzanne's assailant went into her car, touched her glove box, didn't take any of her other personal effects or money, then did not kidnap her from her driveway or garage, but instead waited until she was on a bike, within view of a public highway to kidnap her, but also managed to not leave his DNA on her bike or her helmet. Common sense would be if an unknown assailant was in Suzanne's car that he probably would have abducted her in her secluded driveway or on the long private street shared by only another home with absentee owners, or even the wooded area she would have needed to travel to even get to Highway 225 and 50. It would be unlikely that all the spots to abduct her that they'd choose to do it while she was so close to a highway. So he didn't wear gloves when he went to Suzanne's vehicle, but put them on after he chased her down on a bike. Number 33. The defense will also have to explain why in the midst of an abduction would an assailant even bother throwing her helmet away where he did. I'd have to assume keeping control of his victim and getting away unseen would be more of a priority than stopping and throwing a helmet out, which only risked the opportunity of a passerby or witness to see this, and also indicates a direction of travel. Number 34. If Suzanne truly had gone on a bike ride before she was allegedly abducted, why would she bring her cell phone charging cable on a ride where she could not possibly charge it? There were no
nearby public charging areas. So you would then have to assume she was possibly headed out on a much further journey. If so, why did she not take her camelback with her? Seems unlikely to set out on a strenuous bike ride without taking water, but bringing a charger that would serve you no purpose. Number 35. Despite friends and family's assertions there were no problems in the marriage, Suzanne was having an affair and had confided to problems in the marriage to several people. Troy Skinner, cousin Amber, Shirley, or sister Marcy may have not known about such issues, but the youngest daughter Macy did and admitted to law enforcement that her parents' marriage was in an unsafe place, and Miles Harvey also knew there were talks of separation. Again, you have to wonder why Barry was so intent on portraying the status of his marriage as perfect to investigators, friends, and family. Number 36. Suzanne's disappearance coincided with the height of COVID restrictions. The borders for international travel were closed. If Suzanne was going to pull a Gone Girl, it would have been extra difficult to get smuggled out of this country and also get smuggled into another one, considering Suzanne had no access to cash. Even her secret bank account remains untouched. Number 37. If Suzanne was going to pull a Gone Girl, not taking her ID or money in order to not be tracked, why would she have taken her cell phone and her cell phone charger when she never even used it? The phone would actually be the single most trackable piece that could be used to locate her. Cash would not. And yet she didn't take cash, but she took her phone and the charger. $39. If Suzanne was abducted and did not plan on leaving on her own volition, why did she not text Jeff Saturday night or Sunday morning like she always does? Number 40. If Barry drove all the way to Broomfield 12 hours earlier than originally planned and actually did work on the wall, would he have not realized he forgot the proper tools by that time? Why did he not ask Jeff, Morgan, or Cassidy to bring those needed tools on their way to Broomfield? Seems like Barry had more important worries on his mind that day for some reason.